news flow that just came out a while back. Bajaj Auto has posted June sales which are marginally lower than estimates, but still on a year-on-year basis, the numbers have improved. Rajiv Bajaj, the Managing Director of Bajaj Auto, joins us on the phone line from Pune to give us more details on that. Hi Rajiv, good morning. In fact, for the entire sector, we've seen a rebound across categories and in your sales as well. Second month now that motorcycle sales have grown by about 3%. Can you safely say that the worst is over for the two-wheeler space, including a company like yourself?
Well, it seems to be so. In the last 3 months or so, we have seen definite improvement in sales across segments, not only in two-wheelers or more specifically in our case in motorcycles, but also in the three-wheeler segment, aided of course by the release of permits as well over there. So definitely there's a positive trend in the marketplace.
Okay. I'm looking at the export numbers. They're actually quite weak on a month-on-month basis at 1.35 lakh units, despite the shipments to Egypt beginning. Any kind of reason for that?
I guess two reasons. In the previous month, in the month of May, we did benefit from some preponement of motorcycle sales, and that is why I said last month that motorcycle sales in terms of exports would not be sustainable at those levels. That's one. Secondly, the 5,000 three-wheelers and 3,000 motorcycles that were to be exported to Egypt, due to some document issues, that export has slipped by a week or so, so it will go now in the first week of July. So we will once again see a bit of a spike when we speak next month and review July. So, month to month this does tend to happen, but there's no doubt that if we compare for the first quarter, for example, if I've got this right, I think exports are up by 22%. Over April, June, from about 360,000 to 442,000. So I think 22% is very good.
Rajiv, hi, morning. We were talking to Maruti management yesterday, and they said that after the election verdict, the sentiment has changed quite positively, and a lot of footfalls are turning into actual buying. Would you corroborate that? Is that something that's happening on the two-wheeler front as well?
Generally, I would. For us, to be more specific, we've seen double-digit growth in the Pulsar segment, which is very important for us. We're also seeing that segment expand, so that's a good qualitative sign. We saw very strong double-digit growth, close to, I think, 30% or so in the Platina segment. So that's also very good. Of course, our own performance remains somewhat subdued in the mid-segment, in the Discover segment. But that is more a Bajaj Auto specific issue and dependent on our own product launches. I think the industry is witnessing good sales there as well.
Okay, so do you have any kind of target set for yourself in this financial year in terms of overall sales?
No, we have no specific target. We finished last year just under 4 million, and clearly we'd like to see strong double-digit growth both in domestic and export markets on top of that. We'd also like to equally see strong double-digit growth both in the motorcycle and three-wheeler segment. And so far I would say that we are on course for that. For example, in the domestic three-wheeler segment, we have had very unusually high growth last month. If I remember right, it is about from about 16,000 to 23,000. So again, that's unusual. It's not necessarily indicative of the kind of growth we expect in the coming months. But on the whole, yes, I think we are on course for double-digit growth this year.
Okay. I was just actually going through the domestic volumes, Rajiv. On a month-on-month basis, they're actually weak, despite the buying that the industry has seen to avail of, the excise duty benefits. Do you think that Bajaj Auto could continue to lag its peers, until there is some concrete plan put into place to recover market share?
I would think that we should see that change from this quarter for sure, because as I just said, we have double-digit growth in the Pulsar and very strong double-digit growth with the Platina. What we have to get into the positive territory is the Discover. And I think what has happened there in the last year or so is that due to the intensity of competition, especially between Hero and Honda, who have always been dominant in that segment. Other players have got somewhat marginalized. And what is important before we gain market share is to strongly win back mind share. And the best way to do that is to do that by putting the best future motorcycles into the marketplace. So we start production in a few days of a new big Discover, which we believe will become the benchmark of commuter motorcycles in the market. So that will be launched into the market next month. And I think if we win back mind share and win back footfalls on that basis, then we will by September be able to get Discover also back into a positive growth territory.
But don't you think, Rajiv, that the time has come perhaps to, come out with a different strategy rather than launching different CC bikes under the same Discover brand? I mean, I'm just putting forward to you what, a lot of the feedback we get on the street. We spoke with a dealer yesterday who indicated that Bajaj Auto is losing market share purely because there are too many, variants of the same brand.
Yeah, well, as I said last time, with the Pulsar, we have probably as many variants between the 135, 180, 200, 220, etc. as we do with the Discover. But because we were first to market with the Pulsar, we created the category and, we always had almost 50% share there. That issue never comes up. Such issues do come up when you are a challenger. And let me put it the other way. I mean, companies like Yamaha and TVS and Suzuki, I suppose, do not have too many variants in that category, but their market shares are lower than ours.
So what's the exact market share that you've clocked in this quarter, this month?
I don't know about last month exactly because I don't have all the competition numbers, but typically we've been at 18 to 19% market share over the last 6 months. And what is well known is that used to be about 4% higher last year. So with the new Discover, that's what we have to win back in the first place.
Okay. Rajiv, you have been quite candid in the past as well. Would it be fair to assume that Honda has actually hurt Bajaj more than Hero?
Well, it depends again on the segment. If we are talking about the Discover segment, then I think Honda has grown probably at the expense of both. If they have grown a little more at the expense of Bajaj, I would not be able to say yes or no at this time because I don't have those numbers in front of me. And at some point, I always say that speaking about sales becomes a little one-dimensional when one doesn't look at the bottom line correspondingly. We have stayed away from pricing low, from discounting, from heavy advertising and heavy promotion. And protected the bottom line. So I think each company makes its own choice of the balance it wishes to strike between market share and the bottom line.
Okay. Finally, how much of the new Discover have you sold this month?
We are starting this month the production of the new one, the 150cc Discover. So we hope to make somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 this month. Being a new product, the production ramp up is a bit slow. And we will launch that into the market next month.
What has been the response to the higher CC Dukes, Rajiv, and what's the plan here?
I think the Dukes are doing very well. If I remember right, in the month of June last year, the sale of KTM in India was about 550 motorcycles, and I think that is up to about 1,300 or 1,400 this June. So clearly, there is a trend towards higher CC motorcycles, and KTM is a big beneficiary of that. On top of that, we have, of course, exported another 4,000 or 5,000. So now I think of all KTM sold worldwide, close to a third, if not 40%, is coming out of the Chakan plant in India.
All right, Rajiv, we'll leave it at that. We hope there are better times to come for Bajaj Auto and you get back into the market share game very soon.
Thank you.
All the best. Thanks for joining us. That's the word coming in from Bajaj Auto.